This is a look right now outside from our Grand Haven Tower cam. It's been a cool, mild day across West Michigan, but the weekend is shaping up to be very rainy.
That it is. Chief Meteorologist George Lesson's over in the Weather Center now to start our team coverage of the system that's heading our way, George.
Lots of heavy rain expected here starting Saturday night, and for that reason there is a flood watch that has been issued for all of West Michigan. It starts Saturday afternoon through at least Monday morning. A flood watch means that you need to be on the lookout for heavy rain, especially in those flood-prone areas. You know if you are in one of those because we had heavy rains earlier this month, and the rivers did come up just a little bit. The developing storm we are watching is not the rain down in Indiana and Illinois. It's not the rain in Iowa. Those are all going to stay away from us here tonight. It's the developing storm coming into the Texas and Oklahoma panhandles that's going to be rapidly racing into our direction, and that will be later on tomorrow. You can see the rain starting down in Oklahoma, heading up through Missouri, Illinois, and into western lower Michigan, and this will all be heaviest starting tomorrow night, lasting through Monday evening. It'll be raining 100% of the time, and so there will be no breaks or no significant breaks. This is the global forecast system model for us, a generous 2 to 4 inches of rain that we have been talking about for the last couple of days. I don't think we're going to see much higher amounts than this, but this is enough to cause significant river flooding, which will take place next week, not this weekend. Other than that, here are the differences in the computer models. The European has been the most consistent, anywhere between about 2.5 to 2.9 over the past 2 or 3 days. The North American model is a little robust, but anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of rain is certainly likely across the area. Outside right now, it is just mostly cloudy, and temperature is at 60 here in Grand Rapids, 50s along the lakeshore, with the exception of Ludington. You're at 44 degrees. So your 3-day planner calls for a few light sprinkles here tonight as we get down to 45. The real rain starts tomorrow afternoon, especially I-96 southward, and then heavy rain everywhere Saturday night, Sunday, tapering off just a little Sunday night, and then a little bit of light rain on Monday as it becomes breezy, but a very chilly weekend. In fact, highs on Sunday most likely will be in the 40s all day before rising into the low 50s late in the day. We'll take a closer look at the hour-by-hour timeline a little bit later on.
Well, with the heavy rains expected this weekend, should you be concerned about flooding? To answer that question, meteorologist Laura Hartman is in downtown Grand Rapids at Anaboin Park.
Earlier this month, a lot of Anaboin Park was underwater as a lot of us dealt with flooding in West Michigan. Here in Grand Rapids at the Grand River, almost flood stage was achieved of 18 feet when the rivers rose very close to that on April 10th into the 11th. Now, rivers have really receded since then, but we do have another threat this weekend of flooding, and this one could return some of those water levels to that stage. Now, a lot of us think back to 2013 when we talk about flooding in the West Michigan area, when we achieved record levels in the Grand River in downtown Grand Rapids. Almost 22 feet is how high that river rose. But the question is that going to be an issue once again this year, and are we going to face that kind of flooding? Take a look at this graph. We've got river levels at the Grand Rapids Grand River area down to about 8.25 feet. Now, they are expected to go down just a little bit until we get that rain coming in the next couple days. Remember, that's going to be Saturday afternoon all the way through Monday, and river levels are expected to climb quickly once again. Now, this graph saying about almost 16 feet achieved. That's not too far from what we achieved earlier this month. But remember, this is likely going to change. We do expect to see a lot of change as new data comes in as we get closer to the event. In conclusion, if you dealt with flooding just a couple weeks ago, you'll likely be dealing with it again. Now, in the event that we get even more rain than what was expected, we might be dealing with something that could be reminiscent of 2013. Make sure you stay tuned to WZZM 13 for all the latest information.
We will, Laura. Thank you. And you can always track weather conditions with the WZZM 13 weather app. It is a free download for both Apple and Android devices. You'll find the most up-to-date weather forecast along with an interactive radar. The same features are also available on our website, WZZM13.com. We are going to miss views like this over the weekend. This is video we took today from Air 13 flying over Cedar Springs.
We got some sunny weather today. More clouds are moving in. In particular, tomorrow may start off dry, But going to be a very wet weekend across West Michigan.
George is outside on the weather deck to look ahead to the rain we're going to get over the next several days. One thing you can't help but notice how green it is out there right now, George.
Things have greened up very nicely, but they're going to be underwater here by the end of the weekend. Some areas along the rivers are going to be above bank full and even higher. So if you live in those areas, you'll be highly impacted. Everyone will be impacted by the heavy rain. 13 weather ball is blinking bright. We'll see some rain move in later on tomorrow afternoon. That's in sight. And it's also blue, cooler weather in view, only in the 50s here tomorrow. And this view brought to you by Countryside Greenhouse of Allendale. As you're heading out this evening, mainly cloudy skies. You may catch a sprinkle, but that's just about it. Temperatures will slip down into the mid-40s. And then with the rain arriving by late afternoon tomorrow, especially from Grand Rapids southward, highs will only be in the mid-50s, so a cooler than average day coming up here during the day tomorrow. As far as the weather headlines, we showed you this yesterday. We're going to repeat it again today. The heaviest rain will occur over a 36-hour period from Saturday night through early Monday. 2 to 3 inches is definitely likely, and some areas could see up to 5 inches of rain. National Weather Service advised anyone living along small rivers and streams, you should monitor them closely because those were going to come up very, very quickly. It's going to be a very heavy, quick rainfall event. That's why a flood watch has been issued. This is an aerial flood watch. It goes into effect at 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon until 8 o'clock on Monday for most of West Michigan due to the heavy rains moving on in. We've got a number of river flood alerts as well. This is for the Comstock Park area along the Grand River. This is a river flood watch. As Laura mentioned earlier, the river is expected to come up into the actionable stage here during the day or later on next week, as most of the area rivers will be cresting. And also a river flood watch down here along the Portage River in Vicksburg. Right now, we are looking at, hopefully this will go, there you go, it'll get back up into the actionable stage. This is later on Sunday into Monday, and again, most of the area rivers will be cresting later on next week. Got a couple of sprinkles trying to fall out of some very high level clouds. Again, this is the rain that is not reaching the ground. It is down here in Illinois and Indiana, but that's staying to our south. This area of rain over here in Iowa and Wisconsin is going to stay to our north, so we're just going to see a sprinkles. This is the storm we're watching coming out of the southwest U.S. It's being driven by this very powerful upper level storm. It's going to bring up a lot of moisture off of the Gulf for 2 or 3 days as this storm system gets wrapped up, and then it heads on up into Canada by the middle of next week. And then a reinforcing shot of cold air comes on through. It's going to be cold Thursday morning. There may be some frost around the area Thursday morning, and then just kind of a cold next weekend, but it should be dry. When I say cold, colder than average. Here's one model output for the rainfall. This is the global forecast system. Generous 2 to as much as 3 inches of rain. Some spots getting up to 4 down here in Benton Harbor. I do not think we're going to see much more than that, although it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility. You can see, hopefully, coming up on our next weather graphic there, the differences between the European model, which has about 2.5 to 3 inches worth of rain, to the North American model, which has almost 4.5 inches of rain. So 2 to 4 is a pretty good bet on how much we will get in our area. Again, overnight tonight, some light sprinkles, otherwise cloudy. Coldest up here to the north, 32 in Ludington, to as warm as 44 in South Haven. You've got less cloud cover up north than south. 38 to 41 overnight here tonight. Up north, again, a few light sprinkles. And here in the greater Grand Rapids area, again, a few sprinkles are not out of the question as we fall to between about 42 in Ionia to 48 here in Kalamazoo. A very light wind, but that will start to pick up towards daybreak. And again, the heaviest rain will starting Saturday night, but it will begin Saturday afternoon to the south and continue on through Monday. We'll get briefly milder, and then a very chilly day Tuesday with highs only in the 40s, and still cloudy Wednesday. 13 on target forecast. Some frost possible Thursday morning, and then we get to 59 in the afternoon. Upper 50s and low 60s then through next weekend, but at least it will be dry. But again, that will be below our average highs for this time of year. Just monitor the forecast, as that the forecast won't change, but the weather certainly will change this weekend.
And if you got a sump pump at home or something, make sure it's plugged in and ready to go.
And backup battery.
Yep. Thank you, George.